Dwyer in her 19th season for the Miami Hurricanes, as we are set and ready to go, and tip off, it goes right out of bounds, and it's going to belong to the Miami Hurricanes. Hey, there is Katie Meyer, the Dean of Coaches, currently among all active within the ACC, led her program to its first ever Elite Eight last season, a dream season it was, and this year obviously another new look for this group, but certainly some carryover pieces from before that she feels confident can help get it done. Jasmine Roberts with the ball in her hand had a terrific terrific NCAA tournament. One of those players that blossomed for her Hurricanes.
She is one of the holdovers, Tiffany, but you mentioned, as we have an early turnover, both these teams made the Elite Eight last year. So you don't see that matchup a lot of two Elite Eight teams playing in the regular season, but these rosters are so different. So it's hard to take much from their tournament runs last year because of the transfers both of these coaches have brought in.
Well, 6 new transfers in for Jeff Walls, 3 of them in the starting rotation for the Cardinals. And a foul quickly on the floor as Kiki Jefferson, one of those newcomers coming over from James Madison. She has made an immediate impact and was a terrific scorer in the Sun Belt, and now is looking to continue to have success in the ACC with her Louisville Cardinals. Nina Rickards with the ball in her hand, another one coming over from the University of Florida along with Sydney Taylor. Taylor pulls up the jumper. He is off the mark. And last touch by the Cardinals, it'll be Miami basketball.
Lemyeh Hylton battling inside, a mainstay for Louisville, but that was something Jeff Walls really emphasized with us. The rebounding battle is going to be very important in this game, and he was wanting to emphasize that to his team, that they need to do that well to win this game.
Well, quickly on the board, and that's Jasmine Roberts, the junior out of Jacksonville, puts the first 2 points on the board for Miami. When you look at these two teams, Kelly, obviously, we kind of underscored, hey, there are a lot of similarities there. Defensive pedigrees, what both of these coaches like to hang their hat on. They're solid defensively, and also they like to attack the rim.
And you saw right there, Oldacre picking up a foul because Louisville was trying to attack. Both these teams want a dribble drive, and both coaches talked about how one-on-one defense, preventing penetration, like Lashay Dwyer just did right there. That was great defense from Dwyer. That is going to be vital. In the big losses both these teams have, Miami lost to Baylor, Louisville lost to UConn. One-on-one defense was an issue for both coaches. So you're already seeing an improvement there for Miami. Which team can guard better? That's the matchup to watch in this afternoon.
Miami gotten off to an 8-0 start before they dropped their only game of the season to Baylor, back the other way, and as a steal as Miami, strong defensively. Oldacre still down on the floor, and a turnover right into the hands, and that's Nina Rickards. Rickards, who came off a career high or tied that of 5 steals in their previous game over a ranked Washington team, as the Cardinals came out with a win.
And Tiffany, this is big. That's too early on Oldacre. So big development as, look, she just gives a little shove there. That's going to be called. And now Miami having to go to their bench quickly to Lazaria Spearman, who they're very excited about, and she's coming off a double-double.
And coming up with the rebound and back the other way, here's Jada Patrick on the move for the Hurricanes. Dwyer on the take, strong, and just pops out, but she'll go to the line and shoot a couple. Olivia Cochran was whistled for the personal foul as Dwyer went up. Another look at it here.
We're talking about one-on-one defense. Lashay Dwyer gets to the rim, and you put Olivia Cochran in a tough position having to play help side. She's got to do something. She can't just let Dwyer go and lay the ball up. So she gets in her face, gets called for a foul. But that goes back to, I believe it was Jefferson who was guarding Dwyer. The one-on-one defense on the perimeter has got to be better.
Dwyer knocks down the first of 2 free throws. Free throws not necessarily a strong point of this Miami team, currently last in the ACC from the free throw line. But you go back to a conversation that we had with Katie Meyer, and it was one of those things where it seemed like Louisville, she said, always found a way to get our bigs in trouble as that one was poked away from behind. A good steal there. Can they convert it into points? Jasmine Roberts kicks it out. There's Cheyenne Day-Wilson over to Dwyer, and a 3-second violation called against Miami, and they turn it right back over.
That's Spearman who came in for Old Acre, and what you were referencing, Tiffany, is the fact that Coach Meyer seems to think that Louisville can always get her post in foul trouble, which does reign true as Old Acre, who started the game, the McDonald's All-American for Miami, is already on the bench with 2 fouls.
Rickards with the take to the bucket, and the first 2 points for the Cardinals.
Miscommunication there, didn't switch on a screen, and Rickards, who is coming on strong for Louisville, 5 steals in their win over Washington, gets the bucket.
That basket waved off as a foul before the play. And second team foul for the Louisville Cardinals. Cheyenne Day-Wilson with ACC experience came over from Duke. Dwyer looking around. They dump it inside. Spearman with great position goes up strong and gets 2.
What's so impressive about Spearman is her balance. The way she caught that ball, collected herself, and went up smoothly. A lot of times post players try to rush it, but Spearman was so collected on that possession.
A lot of movement to switch there, and Taylor's off the mark, chasing down the rebound. And Cardinals come up with it just temporarily.
Spearman doing a good job of calling for that ball. Help side was a second late for Louisville as Rickards was coming over to help, but also you want to get the ball in there in that situation when you have a smaller guard on help side. Get the ball to your post player, let them use their size.
This Miami team averaging just better than 71 points per game. But when you look at the way the scoring has happened, as a foul is called on the floor, it's going to go against Miami, an offensive foul against Jayda Patrick. Scoring for Miami has come in a number of different ways. Another look at this foul.
Great job by Louisville, and that's what you want to do on a team like Miami, where they dribble drive so much. If you can get position and take charges, that can be a game changer. Good job by Merissah Russell.
And good hustle there by Rickards to hang on to it. Louisville retains possession. Merissah Russell, number 13 for the Cardinals, checked in. A nice reverse layup up and under for Olivia Cochran. Cochran, you talked about holding over from last year, returning starter, and boy, her game has continued to develop this year. She's been called on more.
Strong move from Olivia Cochran. She is such a hard player to guard because she's so quick and athletic as a post player.
The quickness there showed off by Cheyenne Day-Wilson. Great team defense from Miami, and going right at Cochran, who rejects that one. On the offensive rebound, and Spearman puts it in. Doubles up that lead now for Miami, 8-4.
Spearman, just a young sophomore, coming off 14 and 10 versus Alabama State a couple days ago. And you can see the upside if you're watching this game with Lazaria Spearman.
Hailing from Dacula, Georgia. Here's Lazaria Spearman cleaning up the boards.
Great positioning inside. Had inside leverage to go get that offensive rebound. Went right back up with it. I referenced it on that previous possession where she scored. Her balance, Tiffany, that's what really impresses me about Spearman.
Merissah Russell out of Ontario, Ottawa, Canada, is at the free throw line. You can see Spearman getting attended to on the bench right now after that last play. And quick tape up from the trainer, silver hair.
Great work by the trainer, Tiffany. We love to see it. And here's the thing, too. Oldacre with 2 fouls. You can't afford to bring Spearman off, bringing her back in. You just can't do that. That's where the trainer is so important.
Love it. That's what you got to do, Kelly. You got to shout them out. Shout them out because they're working hard. That's right. Well, Louisville is a team who gets the free throw line quite often and frequently throughout ball games. Average 16 makes a game. And they're 1 of 2, the back end hit from Russell.
They also shoot 78% from the free throw line, which is incredible. Top 25 nationally. They are collectively one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country.
Miami has gone to work inside. 6 of their 8 points have come inside the paint. And this one from outside off the mark, but a foul underneath and a lot of contact as it'll go against Louisville. Will step aside. 4:35 remaining in the first quarter, and Miami up by 3.
There are those who say Savannah, Georgia is
both sides. When you look at Louisville, 8 players have 5 points or more per game. In fact, they have 3 starters in double digits. For Miami, they've got 9 players on the other side averaging 5 or more. Lazaria Spearman is already near that with her 4 points, but no top 20 scores on either roster. You see that note there. Kelly, does that surprise you at all?
You know, it does when you think about Miami and Louisville and how they're always near the top of the ACC, but the way both of these rosters are constructed, the depth is tremendous. Both of these teams will play 10 players, which you don't see in most programs. Most of the time you think, okay, Louisville's going to have a top 20 score. That part's a little more surprising. But these teams are still very good. They're just more sums of their parts this year.
Well, that's a great point there. And when you think about, you know, some of the players that were lost, Haley Cavender and Destiny Harden for Miami, it's been all hands on deck for everyone to kind of chip in. Jasmine Roberts is the lone player in double figures with 11 points per game. Rebound brought in by Kiki Jefferson. Jefferson, who is 2 points away from 2,000 career points, and on cue, there it is. That's career point number 2,000 for Kiki Jefferson.
She has been probably the most consistent scorer on the floor on either of these teams. She can score at all 3 levels, and you'll see that throughout this game. But Jasmine Roberts, she had such an exceptional NCAA tournament, just got that bucket there for Miami. I think Coach Meyer is excited to see how she continues to progress. She's still a very young player, and how she can carry them in the second part of the season.
Yeah, the way she shined last year made everyone take notice, and there, the big bucket from Nyla Harris. Harris, who went up strong to the hoop, the and one. And Nyla Harris, the sophomore out of Orlando, Florida. But let's go back to Kiki Jefferson again. First year, the graduate transfer. 130 games played in her career and 2,000 career points. And as a sharpshooter out of Clemson, Kelly, how tough is that to amass? I mean, that's always impressive. You always have to shout it out when it happens.
2,000 career points in college is an incredible feat. I don't care where you did it. I don't care where you played. Obviously, most of those scored at James Madison, but that means that you are consistent night in, night out. And it also means that you have been playing really good basketball since you stepped on campus, since you became a college basketball player. So incredibly impressive for Kiki Jefferson, and more to come this year in a Louisville uniform.
Lemyeh Hylton crossover, trying to do some work on Jefferson. That one-on-one defense that you talked about, very good there from Jefferson. Just thrown up at the last minute from Spearman, didn't touch anything on the rim. And a shot clock violation for Katie Meyer's crew.
Jeff Walz was very excited on the sideline after his team got that shot clock violation. That's what he wants to see. He wants to see a better defensive intensity from this group, and you saw that on that possession. There are very few things, Tiffany, that make a coach happier than a defensive shot clock violation. And that situation is not going to make a coach happy.
I was going to say, Jeff Walz is like, man, what's going on right here? They turn it over. Miami with the ball underneath the basket. in the inbound as Latasha Lattimore into the ball game, number 35 in white. Going to work is Dave Wilson. Nice spin move, jumper floater in the lane. And Cheyenne Dave Wilson, she can be one of those X factors for Miami with so many new pieces, as you mentioned. She's one that can come in and turn things around, not turn things around, but turn up the scoring for this Miami group.
Another transfer from Duke. Was the ACC Rookie of the Year a couple years ago and can score in bunches.
High off the glass, and Jayda Curry coming over from Georgia Tech and getting her first 2 points of the game. The offensive foul on the take from Jalea Williams, and it's going to be Louisville basketball even at 12 apiece.
There are certain things that you can just tell have been emphasized in practice and emphasized in the scouting report. And for Louisville, it has to be taking charges. That's Kiki Jefferson. I think that's her second charge that she's taken of the game. The bench got hype. Coach Walls got hype. That is a point of emphasis for Louisville in this matchup.
Nice dish down to Harris. Harris, tough shot, going at it again, rolls around, and finally gets it to go down, and Louisville takes their first lead of the game. And going back to your point, Kelly, it was a matter of following the scouting report, something that they didn't do against UConn. And this time around, he says, look, we are going to put a greater emphasis on following that scouting report and being strong on defense. Williams trying to split a couple of defenders, fouled on the way to the bucket. And Kiki Jefferson coming up grimacing a little bit on after her first personal foul. Will send Williams to the charity stripe.
And this is what makes Miami so hard to guard. Kiki Jefferson was trying to take another charge there, but didn't fall, didn't sell it as much. I think that was a good call as she stepped into Jalea Williams' path. But this is what makes Miami so hard. They attack you every possession. Every possession they're getting downhill. Every possession they're coming off of the wing and they're attacking the rim. And so you have to bring that defensive intensity for 40 minutes. That's difficult to do against a team that's so athletic like Miami.
1 of 2 and going for the rebound, and Lattimore is called for the off-ball foul, so Biggs getting in trouble. Lattimore with her first personal foul.
Called her for the shove there, and of course right in front of the official makes it a bit easier for the official to call, but there wasn't much contact on that play. I think Louisville sold it a bit, and of course right in front of the official. It's tough to not make that call if you're the ref.
Well, coming up next, our New Year's Eve women's basketball quadruple header is capped off with number 3 NC State taking on Virginia. Of course, everyone, we hope you have a safe and happy New Year's Eve as we head into 2024, and Wes Moore has to feel good about his Wolfpack crew and the way that they have played thus far. What stands out to you? Who catches your eye? Because they're a really great team who can make it really interesting on any given night for any opponent.
Yes, NC State has been exceptional. I've said this before. I think they had the best November ever, perhaps, beating UConn in Colorado. Colorado was top 5, so was UConn. But their depth, similar to these teams here, their depth at NC State is very impressive. They do have Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James who are scoring the ball at a little higher clip than some other players in this game. But that's something you have to watch coming up after us is that NC State-Virginia game. Tiffany, how many leagues can say? We've had 4 games on ACC Network today. Every game is featuring at least one ranked team. That's impressive.
And this Miami team has seen Lemyeh Hylton knock down the 3, and then the follow-up from Cheyenne Day Wilson. The Hurricanes receiving votes also in the polls. I mean, the ACC stacked from top to bottom as the answer back the other way from Aaliyah Love.
Miami has to be careful. They pressed there. They got up in Louisville's face, and Louisville beat that press with just a couple passes. So If you're going to press, you can't let the other team get a layup out of it.
They're going to count that continuation from Hylton as she draws the foul. Sydney Taylor is the guilty party, and let's take another look at it here. Reaching in and following through was Hylton. And Lemyeh Hylton with a nice spark, 5 points now for the Hurricanes guard. And what a rejection there from Latasha Lattimore. Lattimore with just that length stretching out, all 6'4" for that wingspan, great. Step back three from Day Wilson in rhythm, yes ma'am.
Massive momentum shift for Miami. Big block by Lattimore. You come down the other way and hit a three. That's how you gain momentum at the end of a quarter if you're the Canes.
Both teams shooting excellent in this first quarter, 56% or better. And that one rolls off the rim. But the putback and the follow through from Harris, and Nyla Harris brings them in within 3.
Well, look at this block from Latasha Lattimore, and then Miami is off to the races. Jayda Wilson from the logo, basically from the logo. We'll take it. We've got a good one down here in South Beach.
These days, the best seat in the house.
Oh, definitely. And that March 4th, 2022 game, that was the game in the ACC tournament where Destiny Harden hit the game-winning fadeaway jumper and then ran out of the building, which was just amazing. So these two always have exciting games. However, Jeff Walz is 8-2 versus Miami, and a Jeff Walz coach Louisville has never lost in Miami. So that's an interesting fact to me. I didn't realize that. I always just thought these two play close games, it goes either way, but Jeff Walz has actually had a lot of success against Miami.
So you talk about the undefeated stay that he's had anytime he goes down to Coral Gables. When you think about this Miami team, who is perfect at home this season, and in fact has a 17-game winning streak, has not lost at home in this calendar year.
A lot at stake in this one, Tiffany. This is your last game of 2023. It's the last day of 2023.
It is.
So could they finish out perfect? That would be quite the feat for the Canes.
And what a way to open conference play against Louisville, a team that has made it to 5 straight Elite 8 appearances. We talked about them being a perennial power within the women's college basketball landscape. Off the mark there as it's 25-20 in favor of Miami. It's been a balanced attack with Day Wilson, 7 points, Lemyeh Hylton with 5, Jasmine Roberts with 6 for the Canes. Spreading it out, getting the scope. Under 10 to go on the shot clock. Williams has to get it in. Inside to Latasha Lattimore, and that was zipped into Lattimore. Great pass there and finish. Williams
that was
to
an
Lattimore.
Excellent pass, Tiffany. And the way she looked off the defender, she looked with her eyes like she was going to pass to the top of the key and then zipped it inside to Lattimore. Well done.
And that one rolls around as Love picks up another 2 points. Leah Love coming off the bench with 4 points and an offensive foul. How about Nyla Harris and the job that she did in the first quarter for Louisville? We kind of looked at our stat broadcast and said, hey, well, you know, how many points does she have? How many rebounds? She's taking a couple of charges. And there, getting in good position as well. Takes another charge, 9 points, 4 rebounds for the sophomore.
Nyla Harris has played great so far. And Tiffany, I always have wondered why we don't keep charges on the stat sheet. Louisville, I believe, to my count, has taken 3 charges so far in this game. That should be added to a box score because it's so important in the game right now because you can change a game so much at the turnover.
I think you should make a petition for that.
Yes.
Starting now.
I'll call up Debbie Antonelli. I bet she'll help me with that.
Oh,
she has all the power.
She has all the plans. She has the plans and the power.
That's right.
Debbie Antonelli and Jen Hildreth will join us after this one for that NC State Virginia game. Make sure you stay tuned. Sydney Taylor inside to Olivia Cochran, and Cochran gets it to go.
Louisville loves that set. They love a back screen. This is excellent execution. You see the back screen set for Olivia Cochran by Jayda Curry. Miami gets lost just for a second, gives Louisville enough time, and just executing in the half court. Louisville's been very good at that this season.
Well, Cochran coming off her 5th straight double-figure game, 14 points, was efficient from the floor. And she's a player who has just, again, answered the call with an expanded role, leads the team in rebounds and steals and blocks. She's done a terrific job. And when you look at how these teams have scored their points, well, again, we talked about how they like to attack, the dribble drive, how they want to get inside. And a large percentage of both of their points have come in the paint. The pull-up with ease, Jayda Curry for 3, and grabbing the lead right back are the visiting Cardinals.
That is exactly what Louisville needs and wants from Jayda Curry coming off the bench. She's known as a shooter. She gets an open look there and knocks it down. Louisville only makes about 5 threes per game. That is last in the ACC, but if they can get a few at important times, that's what Jeff Walz wants.
Here, Dwyer with 3 to go on the shot clock, lets it fly off the mark. And out and running is Louisville on an 8-0 run, trying to extend it here as Harris is wrestled to the floor hard, and she falls hard as well.
You cannot lose Jayda Curry in transition. She's one of the best three-point shooters on Louisville's team. You got to pick up the ball. You got to make her pass it. If you're going to give her that kind of open look, she is going to knock it down. Her last name is Curry, Tiffany. I mean, what else can we expect?
She's always cooking up something, is what you're trying to say?
That's right. If your last name's Curry, by the way, she wears number 30. I believe I've read that Steph Curry's her favorite player. I mean, who isn't when it comes to Steph Curry? He's also my favorite player. But Jayda Curry's going to knock that down.
Dwyer, the step back in the lane and gets the friendly bounce. Shea Dwyer now with 4 points. She's 1 of 4 on the team, hailing from north of the border in Canada for the Miami Hurricanes.
When you hear South Beach, you don't think Canada, but you know what? Those Canadians, they know where they wanted to go, Tiffany. They wanted to go somewhere warm, and they're enjoying their time at the University of Miami.
You know, when you think of it, as Sydney Taylor knocks down the jumper, she was wide open for that one. But you think about it, how hard of a sell was that for Katie Meyer to try to recruit them down to South Florida? Hey, come to the sunny beaches of South Beach and Miami, the sunshine, good weather, great program.
I think she just has to show them the average temperature in January and they're sold.
Off the rebound, Dwyer showing off some handles, trying to split a couple of defenders, and she had an attack mindset from the time she took it off the rim on the other end of the floor. 4:48 remaining, another tight one going on between 19th ranked Louisville and Miami. The country, you see their average at better than 77%. Meanwhile, it's a contrast from Miami, and when they get to the free throw line, only 60% knocking it down throughout this season. However, Kelly, today a different story. 5 of 6 for Louisville, but Miami hanging tough right now, 3 of 5 from the free throw line.
Miami's looked fine so far, but when you look at that percentage, that's over a decent sample size. I know that's something that Coach Meyer would love for Miami to improve upon. She says they work on free throws often. So we'll see if they can get that percentage up as the season goes on. For Louisville, every single player that plays for them shoots over 70% from the free throw line, except for Van Schuyck, who's only taken 2 free throws, and she's 1 for 2. That is absurd. to have that kind of consistency shooting the free throws from your entire roster, it makes it very tough in late game situations too, Tiffany, because there's no one that you can foul and just give free throws to. So keep an eye on that.
An excellent point, because you don't want to put anyone of these players on the line in those type of tight situations. Here's Cochran facing up against Spearman. And winning that battle is Olivia Cochran, Big O. Here's Allie Steadman. First few minutes of the game for Steadman. And then a foul away by Curry.
Olivia Cochran strong inside. Spearman trying to draw some contact, trying to get the officials to call a charge, but they did not see enough contact to make that call.
Wilson has had the hot hand for a portion of this game. They've gotten Spearman involved, but Allie Steadman getting into the action. What did Coach Meyer say? Hey, look, she is due for a big game. We're ready for her to just explode, coming in as the leading scorer last year for Pepperdine.
Coach Meyer called it, and it is so difficult to sit there for as long as she had. This game started at 4 o'clock, so she sat on the bench for 40 minutes. And then to come in and hit your first shot like that, you don't understand unless you have to do it how difficult that is.
Here's Sydney Taylor with a great open look from 3. Won't go off the rim, and the rebound and out ahead, but there's a foul and a whistle away from the basketball. Joe Vasili. Says Sydney Taylor was the guilty party there on the foul. Let's take another look at it here.
That was a little bit of a touch foul. It looks like Jasmine Roberts tripped after she was touched, so they called it because of the trip. I'm not sure Sydney Taylor caused the trip, but it's kind of a good foul for Louisville. You prevented a fast break layup.
A great defense there in the outstretched arms of the Cardinals defender, Kiki Jefferson, and she answers back the other way, taking it all the way in Louisville with a 2-point lead. Just over 3 minutes to go here in this first half. It's really been a back and forth affair. No one has created too much separation. The largest lead on either side has been 7. Steadman working on Rickards. We're talking about rebounding. Jeff Walls' group is coming down with important rebounds. Pretty even though, winning +2 in that category thus far. Losing the handle, and right there was Dwyer. The turnover for Louisville. Kennett converting the points on the other end. And Dave Wilson is fouled. Tough take to the hoop. And then the collision there on the foul with Kiki Jefferson. Well, Saturday afternoon right here on the ACC Network, we'll have the first basketball tripleheader of the new year. Virginia takes on NC State to start us off at 2 Eastern, then Florida State hosts Virginia Tech. And finally, number 16 Duke and Notre Dame square off in South Bend. Should be a great afternoon of hoops on the ACC Network.
Miami with a chance to add to their points off of turnovers. They have 8 so far in this game. When they have forced turnovers, especially in the open floor, they have found a way to go convert on the other end. Think back to the Lattimore block and the Dave Wilson 3 from the top of the key. So they've done a good job of turning those turnovers into good situations for themselves.
Being able to pick up easy points from the free throw line, something they want to do right now. Shooting 50% from the charity stripe are the Hurricanes. And 1 of 2 for Dave Wilson, who extends her point total out to 8. Russell picks up her dribble, and the traveling violation called. And another turnover there.
Miami and Louisville both they both like to apply full court press at different times of the game, pick their points. One of the best times to put on your full court press and trap is after a made free throw. You have so much more time to set your defense after a made free throw, and that's what Miami did right there. Made that free throw and then forced a turnover with their pressure.
Hylton being guarded by Jefferson. Tough pass over. Hylton thought about it. Instead, another tough shot with the hand in her face, but it rattles down.
Tough shot. That's good defense, but even better offense, Tiffany.
I was going to say, from what you're seeing, when we're talking about that defense and those one-on-one battles, I mean, how would you rate the way both teams are defending?
I think Louisville had more to prove in that category, and I think they've done a pretty good job. Taking those 3 charges have been big for Louisville. And then for Miami, the guards haven't hurt Miami as much. For Louisville, it's been a lot of that post play. So I think the guard defense has been good, but they are missing Oldacre a bit. They're missing her size for Miami. You haven't seen much from her since those 2 fouls.
She quickly went to the bench in the first quarter after picking up a pair of fouls in the first 5 minutes. And Kyla Oldacre, the sophomore out of Mason, Ohio, can only watch on as of right now. But again, Spearman and Lattimore have come in and held their own in her stead. Over to Roberts. Roberts gets it right back. And makes it a 10-footer. Falls for Jasmine Roberts. So less than a minute to go in the first half. A 3-point advantage for the Hurricanes. You think too about the energy and the intensity that we've seen. Remember, it's been a long time since
This is such good defense. This is such good defense from Jalea Williams. First of all, Louisville's so focused on using the ball screen, and Jalea Williams is focused on getting the ball. And so to have active hands when you know you have to guard the ball screen, but also being able to have active hands while getting ready to defend the ball screen, it's very tough to do because you have to get up, you got to get over that screen, whatever the plan is there. So Jalea Williams just continuing to show why she is an elite defender.
And on the drive to the basket, Jayda Curry is fouled on her way up. Dwyer is whistled for her second personal foul. So Day Wilson checks in. Final 35 seconds remaining. And we saw this before the game, Kelly, and we were blown away that Louisville has made more free throws than their opponents have attempted this season. That's something that's rather rare, and I'm not sure a lot of teams can say that for themselves. In the rebound, coming up with it. And the steal, here's Miami. And just left short by Jalea Williams, wrestled away.
That's the kind of opportunity that Miami needs to convert on. Jalea Williams getting a look in transition at the rim. You would love to see that fall if you're Katie Meyer.
Louisville with a chance to tie or take the lead, and Curry ties it up right there with that lay-in. 37 apiece. And the shot's not going to get up before the end of the first half. An entertaining one. Back the floor, you know, remind our viewers what's important for both sides.
Well, we talked about that on-ball defense. Important on both sides, but more so for Louisville because of how much Miami likes to attack the rim. I felt like Louisville did a good job in the first half, took 3 charges. So keep an eye on that if they continue to try to draw those charges. For Miami, seeing someone emerge, and I thought for them it was Day Wilson at times. She scored the ball well. Can she continue to look for her own shot in this second half?
Well, Kiki Jefferson off the mark, but a few chances for Louisville in this opening possession of the third quarter. It's Olivia Cochran trying to go to work with Oldacre back on the floor. So we mentioned the 2 post players with 2 personal fouls apiece. And quickly, A whistle on the floor, and Old Acre picks up her third personal foul and will trot back to the bench within the first 35 seconds of the second half.
That is brutal for Miami. And for Old Acre, there's absolutely no rhythm for her right now. She's probably not going to play again until the fourth quarter. That's the last thing you wanted if you're Miami.
Well, after having a terrific first half, Nyla Harris carrying over. She had 9 first half points to go along with 8 rebounds, and here adding to that total, now in double figures, leading all scorers on the floor.
Nyla Harris is only a sophomore. In my mind, she's been at Louisville longer, but she's only a second-year player, was a 5-star recruit, coming off a great game against Washington. It feels like she is really coming into her own at this point in her career for Louisville.
Off the mark, chasing down the rebound is Jasmine Roberts to keep it alive for the Hurricanes. Little ball fake comes in a little bit closer, and the 16-footer is true.
Beautiful by Jasmine Roberts. They tried to run her off the three-point line. She pumped, one dribble to the left, knocks it down. That's just textbook right there from the junior.
If you're just tuning in, Louisville, 19th ranked team in the country, 11-2 overall, coming off an Elite 8 performance a season ago. A lot of different faces for this program, and you have to also think this is a team that hasn't played in 11 days. Remember, their last game was December 20th, so they didn't play before, or excuse me, after the Christmas break. This is their first game coming off the Christmas break. Did you have some concern, or did you see any lag off or drop off from Louisville in terms of kind of getting their legs back under them quickly?
You know, I have not seen that from Louisville, and that's just a testament to the Cardinals having good practices and being prepared. But it can be a difference. Game shape is a whole different animal. And the fact that Louisville hasn't shown much drop-off means they've had some tough practices, Tiffany. Anybody who's played basketball knows that first practice back from Christmas break is probably the toughest practice all year. But Louisville seems just fine. And I do think it helped Miami that they played Alabama State a couple of days ago and was able to get back in game shape that way.
Yeah, good tune-up game before getting into conference play, as that's a long three from Jayda Curry. Curry says, no problem about it. My second triple of the game, and she's got 11 points now.
Jayda Curry was the Pac-12 Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, shot the ball really well at Cal before transferring to Louisville, and is starting to come on in this game. You can see that she can flat out shoot the rock, and that's what Louisville needs. Cochran,
they need her rebounding, and she has done her job thus far this afternoon and throughout this season. And Rickards misses a wide open layup. Harris tried to put it back in, no good, and then a whistle underneath the basket.
Here's another look at Jayda Curry wearing number 30 with Curry on the back of her jersey. I think you know what's going to happen. She squares up. She has just an inch of daylight and says, I'm going to pull it. And Jayda Curry's starting to feel it. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. 11 points for her. Tied for the lead in terms of scoring with Nyla Harris. Big production from Curry off the bench so far.
When you think about so much was lost in just the transferring of players that went out of the program, the graduation of a handful of seniors. But when we talked to Jeff Walls earlier today, he said, look, I feel really good about this group that I have now. They're fun to coach, but they're also experienced, right? A lot of them came over from programs whether they were leading scorer or have already now graduated in their graduate year. So this is a group that has a maturity about them.
They're an old team. They haven't played as much together, but they've played a lot of college basketball collectively. And you're seeing a maturity with this team. And I've done quite a few Louisville games this year. It's obvious that Jeff Walls really likes this team.
Well, a team that has shot exceptionally well from the three-point line is Miami, and Lachey Dwyer adding to that high percentage total as Curry coming right back on the other side. Again, trading buckets. We saw 7 ties, 6 lead changes in that first half. But Miami, we talked about that at the start of the broadcast. Hey, look, they are shooting from beyond the arc better than we've seen in a long time. To that point, right there, on cue, another triple drop.
Right on cue. And what they're doing so well in that dribble drive offense is they're attacking, as you just saw there with the Jayda Patrick three. They're attacking and drawing and then kicking out to an open three-point shooter. And Katie Meier was very pleased with that. She said they are getting a lot of good looks from three. They're not forcing it. You see how help side comes down in Nyla Harris. So Dwyer can kick out to Jayda Patrick, and she has a wide open look. Miami shooting 40% from three in this game and shooting the ball really well from beyond the arc as a team.
A one-point ball game here in the third quarter as Curry with a long two. Her foot was on the line, but that step back from Jayda Curry, who's continuing to start cooking from long range or just thereabout.
She's feeling it. You can tell the basket is looking as big as the ocean to her right now. And let me tell you, Tiffany, that is the best feeling in the world. When you feel like you can't miss, keep shooting it.
Wonderful touch pass from Rickards down low, and another bucket in there for Nyla Harris and rather Kiki Jefferson. But again, great offensive execution in transition.
And a good job by Jayda Curry, right? Pushing the pace. You have to pick her up right away because she could launch it from there. Getting the ball up the floor, and then a good job by Rickards to keep the ball moving. Louisville's been good in the open floor. When they've been able to get out and run, they have been able to score.
Halfway through the third quarter. This Miami group, 10-1 on the season, perfect at home this year. The only one they dropped was against Baylor, but they're trying to keep that perfect record at home, trailing by 3 to the 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals.
She's been cooking, that's for sure. This shot got her open when they left her open in this transition situation, and then she was getting to the rim because they have to respect the three. This one, just an inch of daylight. You're going to lay off me that much, I'm going to shoot it. And Jayda Curry absolutely feeling it. She's been a game changer for Louisville in this third quarter. Has her season high so far with 15 points, and we still have 15 minutes left of basketball. This is her best game in a Louisville uniform so far.
Oh, no relation here between Steph Curry and Jayda Curry, but the idea to meet your favorite player, okay, and one of the coldest in the game, I think she's taking a few tips from Steph Curry, or maybe Steph Curry might be checking out Jayda Curry right now.
You can tell by the way she plays that she loves Steph, and there are so many players of this generation that love Steph, of course. Who doesn't? But you can tell there's some inspiration there, and that's so cool that she got to meet her favorite player.
Yeah, and you know, you got to love this right here. The confidence that she's shooting the ball with, pulls up from the elbow jumper, knocks it down, and Jayda Curry is right now feeling it. She was averaging in that Rookie of the Year season you mentioned when she was at Cal, better than 18 points a game. Right now, she's got 17 in this matchup against Miami.
She can shoot it, and the difference is at Cal, she was a volume shooter, right? She was option A in the offense. She was getting 20 shots a game. She's not getting 20 shots a game at Louisville. She's got to make the most of those shots, and that's what she's doing today. She's 7 for 10 from the floor. Exceptional there. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So she is being super efficient right now, earning more minutes in this game coming off the bench for Louisville. And just adjusting from being option A to maybe option B or C, it can be difficult, but she's doing well so far in this game.
Louisville turns it over. Good opportunity here for Miami. Under the basket, Jayda Patrick goes up and in, and she's fouled. So foul on Olivia Cochran, but this great make here from Jayda Patrick.
Good job by Jayda Patrick. Use that extra dribble, collect herself, and go up and draw the foul. And that's how quickly basketball can change. You got to have a short memory. We were just talking about Jayda Curry and her scoring ability. She turns the ball over there, and it leads to a three-point play for Miami.
Well, Patrick, who's a strong finisher around the rim, sees Olivia Cochran pick up her third personal foul, so good job on her to try to get the big inside. In some foul trouble for the Cardinals. On the take, and Kiki Jefferson, she makes tough shots. Every time you watch her, she's always got somebody on her, trying to shake somebody, and she seems to see him go down more often than not.
And we've talked about her consistency. That's what she's doing for Louisville in this game. But Jayda Patrick heating up. The transfer from Columbia starting to make her mark on this game.
Well, Jayda Patrick, who's got the ability to play a couple of different positions, 5'10", out of New York native. And again, back to a seesaw battle. And that's what it's been like all game long. 1 point separates these two teams in this ACC opener. Stolen away. What great effort by Jalea Williams to just go get it, miss from Williams to steal it, take it coast to coast, and give Miami the lead.
Jalea Williams is one of the best defenders in the ACC. She averages over 2 steals per game, and you.
Cheers to you on this New Year's Eve. Hey, check out ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tannenbaum weekdays from Mark's Charlotte studio in his basement at 4 Eastern. They'll continue talking football, basketball. We'll have the latest from around the conference right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Folks inside the Watsco Center, really festive, ready for the new year, to ring in the new year. Kelly, I'm going to ask you in just a second how you're going to celebrate. But first, let's tell you what's on the line. Louisville currently undefeated in Miami with a Jeff Walls coach team and Coral Gables. On the other side, the Canes have protected home court exceptionally well all year long. Can they make it 18-0 for the calendar year if they can pick up a dub against the Cardinals?
To not lose a home game in your building for an entire calendar year is incredibly impressive. So that is what's at stake here for Miami. And bigger picture too, Tiffany, if we're talking about the top 25, right? This would be a huge win for your resume as you're trying to sneak back into the top 25. Miami was ranked a few polls ago. This would go a long way to help with that.
Well, Katie Myers shared, hey, look, this is a tough first straw to pull in the conference play. However, it gets you ready. It sees or allows you to see where you are and where you need to be against a very tough Louisville team year in and year out. Cards on the inbound, looking. There's Cochran, and Cochran stepping out and knocking down the jumper, expanding again. We've talked about how she's expanded that range a little bit more and that roll, and giving Louisville the lead right back.
Another example of excellent half-court execution by Louisville. You want to get a wide open look for one of your best players off in a baseline out of bounds, and that's exactly what Louisville did.
And that one deflected by Cochran, so making her presence felt on both ends of the floor. Harris tried to draw some contact, wouldn't go down. Oldacre comes up with the rebound. Remember, she's been in foul trouble, but hauls it in for the Hurricanes. A wide open look for Jasmine Roberts from 3, won't go. Here's Rickards pushing the issue. Pull-up jumper from the elbow, well short.
Perhaps not the best look in transition if you're Louisville. Could have probably gotten to the rim. They've been really good in transition. They've been able to score in the open floor. But in that situation, especially for a player like Rickards, who's so good at the rim, you don't want to settle. You want to keep attacking.
Day Wilson splits through and gets it up and in. Nice touch around the rim for Cheyenne Day Wilson now with 10 points for the Hurricanes.
And her first points of this second half. She was pretty hot in the second quarter, but hadn't done much yet. They need Shy Day Wilson to constantly look for her offense.
Curry had that one deflected as she and Williams fall to the floor, but Jalea Williams popping back up a little start and stop. And Lemyeh Hylton too strong in that three-point attempt. Final seconds of the third quarter. And Curry is off the mark, but is fouled from three-point land. And so she'll go to the charity stripe and have 3 free throws upcoming.
Jayda Curry sets her feet, lets it fly, and they call the foul on Day Wilson. What I believe they're calling, it's kind of hard to see from the angle, but I believe they're saying that Day Wilson didn't let her come down, get 2 feet on the ground as she came down. It's hard to tell from that angle, but still not a foul you want to commit. Jayda Curry with a rare miss from the free throw line. So maybe not as bad of a foul as Miami was thinking, but this is a way that Louisville can grab a little momentum heading into the fourth. Here's a better look at the foul that they called. They're saying that Day Wilson got in her cylinder where she was coming back down. I can see that. I'm not sure it's a blatant foul there, Tiffany, but you know, you do have to protect the shooter, and I'm all about protecting the shooter. You got to let them come down. That's how you turn an ankle, and that's how we get injuries.
Knock it down one, and here it is. The final shot of the third quarter, and it's no good. Louisville grabs the lead right back, and what's going to... Absolutely right. Talking about points in the paint. 36 for Louisville, 32 for Miami. Day Wilson thought about swinging it over to Hylton. Instead, keeps it. Tries to go off the screen. Top of the key, 3. Just off the mark. Tracking down that rebound was Hylton into Oldacre. Let's see if she can make her presence felt as she's fouled underneath the basket.
She's definitely someone to watch in this fourth quarter, Tiffany. The starting center for Miami, a former McDonald's All-American, only a sophomore, but has barely played in this basketball game because of foul trouble. She picked up 2 fouls very early in the first quarter, picked up a foul the first 30 seconds of the third quarter, came in a little bit at the end of the third, but let's see if she can make an impact in this fourth.
Total of 5 minutes on the floor for Oldacre. And knocks down both free throws. I mean, you talked about it just a second ago, Kelly, how well these two teams are shooting the basketball. I mean, even before that shot in terms of makes and misses.
And I feel like both teams have played pretty well defensively, too. Some of these players are just making difficult shots. And how rare is it in a basketball game to see that before this possession right here, these teams had taken the same amount of shots and made the same amount of shots.
How about Jayda Williams, who gets her teammates standing up off the bench? Remember, she started a number of games earlier in the year that Katie Meyer decided to bring her off the bench, and what an impact that she has made. She's come in and been great offense, and a part of that junior trio for this Miami crew with Jasmine Roberts and Lachey Dwyer, who has helped to kind of cement a little bit of a core here for this Hurricane squad.
Lemyeh Williams is an incredible defender, one of the best in the ACC. You ask any coach, you ask any player in the league, they're going to talk about Lemyeh Williams from a defensive standpoint. She has 3 steals today, averages over 2 per game. She's a problem, and she can create. When she can turn those steals into offense, that's what makes her truly a weapon for Katie Meyer. And Katie Meyer is also known for wanting to bring a really good player off the bench, and that's what she's done with Lemyeh Williams to add a spark for Miami.
How do you think about that? How humbling is that as a player, or do players really feed into that? Do they welcome that?
It really depends on the player. I didn't mind coming off the bench because I liked being able to see the game at first for a few minutes, watching it from the bench, seeing how they're guarding so-and-so, seeing how they're guarding ball screens, whatever. You can almost ease into the game. And for Lemyeh Williams, it's just that extra punch off the bench for Miami. And she could be starting too. She started a lot last year, started some this year. But when you have the depth that Katie Meyer does, they average 30 points per game off of their bench. So at Miami, there aren't really starters and bench players. There's just players.
And a collision and a foul. And it's whistled against Miami. It's going to go against Lachey Dwyer. I want to continue that conversation, because one of the things that you notice about this year's version of a Miami team is there is not the alpha dog, right? There is not the one who's going to take control. In fact, Katie Meyer says we're still in search of that piece. And the final 8:49 of this game, we'll be curious to see who tries to take over, who wants the ball in their hand in these tight situations, because you feel like it's going to come down to a final shot, as it has the last 3 of the 4 meetings against these two. Off the miss from Dave Wilson. Stripped away. A wrestle for the basketball. Both Williams and Hylton, Harris and Hylton going for the basketball. And 2 officials were looking at it right here. They're going to discuss it again further.
That is a very tough call to make. And the officials are saying that it's staying with Louisville. They can't review it because it's not under 2 minutes, but I think you have to go. You just have, which obviously you have to because you can't review it, but whatever the ref saw initially, you got to go with it, because that's a...
They whistled Hylton for the foul. Her second personal foul on that play.
Wow. That's surprising on that play, Tiffany. I don't know if I like that.
And it's getting physical too. Like, you know, you're starting to feel the time crunch. Obviously, the final 8-12 in this one, but you're starting to feel a different level of intensity.
It feels like players are trying to make plays because they know this game has been so tight. It's going to be 1 or 2 plays down the stretch, and so it's gotten a little sloppier as players right there, just trying to make something happen.
Off of Louisville last, it's Miami basketball. 17 turnovers for the visiting Cardinals compared to 13 for the home Hurricanes. And there's a collision. Oldacre down on the floor, getting helped up by her teammates. Well, coming up next, don't forget our New Year's Eve women's quadruple header continues, and it's capped off with number 3 NC State taking on Virginia. The Wolfpack currently undefeated at 12-0. Wes Moore's group looking to go on the road and pick up a win against the Cavaliers. Here from South Florida, it has been a back and forth affair. Both teams trading punches. The question is, who will have the last blow and be the last one standing in this ACC opener between Louisville and Miami?
Call a foul here on Nyla Harris. I mean, she just pushed Oldacre for no reason. So I see they're fighting for position down there, but that's a pretty blatant foul.
The inbound to Oldacre. And setting the screen now for Dwyer. See the movement getting into the offense, but got to move quickly. 6 on the shot clock and counting. And a traveling violation there, so an empty possession for Katie Meyer's crew.
Every possession counts. You can see the frustration on Katie Meyer's face right there, because this game it's been so tightly contested. You can't just give up a possession like Miami did.
Poked away, but also Wilson got a piece of Jefferson. So now Dave Wilson along with Dwyer, Oldacre, and Spearman all have 3 fouls for the Hurricanes.
And here's what you don't want to do if you're Miami. You do not want to make this a free throw contest in the 4th quarter. We've talked about it throughout this broadcast. Louisville's one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country, and I'll just say Miami is not. Their numbers are considerably lower than Louisville, so you don't want to turn this into a charity stripe contest.
Well, Saturday afternoon right here on the ACC Network, we'll have the first basketball triple-header of the new year. Virginia taking on NC State at 2. Then Virginia Tech traveling to Tallahassee to take on the Seminoles. And Duke and Notre Dame at 6. That's coming your way next Saturday here on the ACC Network. Well, how both teams have fared from the charity stripe thus far. You see the little graphic popping up, 12 of 15 for Louisville, 10 of 14 for Miami. And what a big shot made there by Jayda Williams. The triple in the corner, stretching out the lead to 4 now for Miami with just over 6.5 to go in this ball game.
Massive 3-ball from Jayda Williams, who's known for her defensive prowess. And then Louisville comes right back. Of course, Tiffany, this is what this game is going to be. No one can grab that big of a lead or that much momentum. Big shot by Merissah Russell.
And this is what it's always been. And this is what it will continue to be as it follows suit between Louisville and Miami. And a timeout is taken on the floor. Miami spins this timeout.
The 3-ball has come alive here in South Beach. Jayda Williams knocks down the baseline 3, but of course not to be outdone. It's Louisville with a corner 3. Stay tuned. We're about to have an epic finish.
Well, you see what's happened over the last 4 meetings between Louisville and Miami. These games come down to the wire. You mentioned earlier that March 4th, 2022 matchup in the ACC tournament. How about a month prior to that, going almost to the final seconds of that one, as Louisville was able to edge out the Hurricanes in the Watsco Center. And so now Jeff Walz has his team ready to go, 6:18 remaining, and this is the type of buildup that you want to see. And this also sets the tone for what ACC play is going to be like, Kelly.
This game always delivers. Miami-Louisville, more often than not, it's a great game. It comes down to the wire, and it comes down to execution in the final 5 minutes. Which team can execute better? And there's Miami with an exclamation point with the big 3.
Lemyeh Hylton says she's ready for this moment. 2 of 3 from long range. She's got 10 points now and stretching the lead out to 2 possessions for the Hurricanes. The Cardinals get the offensive rebound. A look from Rickards. Setting it up, trying to look for the best shot. Here's Kiki Jefferson. Jefferson flips it up. And they're going to call it a traveling violation. Jeff Walz is beside himself after that call. Let's take another look at it.
1, 2.
Oh.
I do not see a travel in that replay right there. I do not see where the travel was. I understand why Jeff Walz was very mad. But Louisville gets it right back. Forces a turnover. That's the beauty of basketball. That you can get that possession back on the defensive end.
Here's Russell once again. Merissah Russell knocking down a couple of 3-balls here in the 4th quarter and bringing her team within 1.
Merissah Russell is the definition of being ready. She's taken 2 shots, and she's made both. 2 threes late in the game for the Cardinals.
Williams splits and just lost control of the basketball on the way up. Let's take another look at that big 3 from Russell.
Watch Merissah Russell here, how she collects herself, sets her feet, and then gets her legs into that shot. It's the 4th quarter. There's under 5 to go. It's your first game back from Christmas break. You're tired. Like, you just are. There's no way around it. And she got her legs into that 3. It's the little things, it's the fundamentals, and that enabled her to knock it down.
Who's got enough in the tank to finish out this one? 4.5 remaining. 1-point ball game. And Nyla Harris called for the traveling violation. Took too many steps there.
That's a travel. That's the right call. That's a travel right there. It was kind of closer than I thought as I see the replay, but I still think that's a travel. The Kiki Jefferson play, not a travel.
Jay Wilson kicks over. Williams looking. Pull up for Jay Wilson, too strong. Here's Harris as the Cardinals set it up in the half court. Got to force it in, down to Cochran, the turnover for the Cardinals.
If you want to make the post entry pass to a post on the block, you have to get a better angle. You can't make that pass from the top of the key. You got to make it from the wing.
Williams. He attacked a little fake there and finished with the left hand from Jalea Williams.
Smooth. I have loved what I have seen from Jalea Williams in the second half of this game, making a difference on both ends of the floor.
And Oldacre with the foul along the baseline. That's her fourth personal.
See what she does here with her eyes. She looks towards Oldacre and then is able to step through with the left hand. That's just a pretty move inside from Williams.
A couple times tonight, Kelly, you've mentioned the eyes of Jalea Williams. Remember she had that excellent pass earlier, the look away to get it and zip it down low?
Great point, Tiffany. She has been very good with that. And Merissah Russell, all I need is 3 shots from the field to have 10 points in this basketball game. Wow.
She's tied at the ball game at 69 apiece. And now the Cardinals have a chance to grab the lead back thanks to the efforts of Merissah Russell in this fourth quarter alone. Bounce pass and just off the foot through the hands of Harris.
Merissah Russell, again, sets her feet. She does it again where she sets her feet, uses her legs, knowing it's late in the game. That three-pointer has got to be all legs. Otherwise, it's going to be short, and she does an excellent job there of looking for her shot with the 1 free throw and the 3 threes. She has 10 points on 3 shots. That's what you need from someone coming off the bench like Merissah Russell. That's what you want to see if you're Jeff Walz.
And the way that she's stepped up, because Kelly, coming into this game, she only knocked down 8 threes, a 27% three-point shooter, but that has been negated. Doesn't matter at all here today and what she's done in this final quarter.
And there's the steal from Merissah Russell down low, and then drawing the foul as well, and now heading to the free throw line. There hasn't been a Cardinal that has made a bigger impact for this team in the fourth quarter than Merissah Russell. Wow.
Agreed. Gotta love that effort from Merissah Russell. Louisville in the bonus now, so they'll shoot free throws the rest of the way. As Russell steps up to shoot 2. And Kelly, we've harped on it all game long that this plays in favor of this Louisville team. An excellent free throw shooting team. And Merissah Russell, one of many players on this roster shooting 70% or better.
One of all of them, basically, Tiffany. They all shoot better than 70%. And then we talked about it too. Once you have a made free throw, that's the perfect time to set up some full court pressure.
Williams over to Roberts, but some contact between Spearman and Cochran, and the offensive foul called against Spearman. And it's Louisville basketball. So Spearman checks out, Natasha Lattimore comes in.
Big mistake for Miami, just giving a possession back to Louisville at a time where, you know, we have such a close game here. That's brutal. You don't even get a shot off on that possession for the Canes.
Picking up full court here. And trying to make it difficult for Merissah Russell to get it across half court. She does so. Rickards pulls it out. Final 2 minutes of regulation. Here's Jayda Curry, who has had an outstanding afternoon. And the offensive foul as Hylton was in position, draws the charge, and turns it right back over to the Hurricanes.
Great job by Lemyeh Hylton. She comes over on help side. She is set before Jayda Curry leaves the ground, which is the most important part about taking a charge. That is well done by Hylton, getting a possession back for Miami.
Great way for Miami to get the ball back now, trailing by 2. Jasmine Roberts off the mark there. And jump ball between Hylton and Harris. And possession arrow is with the Hurricanes. So they maintain possession here.
Surprised that Miami took a 3 there, Tiffany. Did not need a 3. There's so much time left. And with how good Miami is at getting to the rim, I would expect on this situation they look to attack.
And Katie Meyer spins another timeout. She's got 2 remaining here with 1:20 to go in a 2-point ball game. We'll step aside quickly as well. Come back with us after the break.
Okay, we're down by a lot, but he's got a plan.
Geico makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the go and get access to 24/7 claim support.
It's easy to Geico.
Thursday night at 10 Eastern after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the action in the ACC with highlights, analysis, and every women's game. A look ahead, of course, the best upcoming matches as well. So much in store. Kelly and her crew will be there with Kelsey Riggs, Ivory Latta, Coach Muffet McGraw.
Join us. We have a good time.
Yeah, ladies' night, right?
Ladies' night.
Oh, and a tough turnover there. Mental miscue as out of the timeout, Jalea Williams called for the traveling violation.
Tiffany, this is something that honestly officials don't normally call. Now, is that a travel? Yes. Do officials normally call that, stepping into your shot? No. So that's interesting. I mean, textbook, yes, that's a travel. But sometimes officials just let that go. So I think it was a good call.
And there, capitalizing on the other end is Louisville to make it a 2-possession ball game. Final minute of the 4th quarter. And Hylton making a tough shot with the defender in her face. And bringing them within a bucket.
Hylton's been really good for Miami in this 4th quarter. Just big bucket after big bucket.
She's got 12, one of 5 scores for Miami in double figures. Meanwhile, it's been Nyla Harris carrying the show, double-double for number 1 in Cardinal Red. That one rattles around for Nina Rickards. Rickards, who is 1 for 4 today, knocks down a crucial bucket with 13.5 seconds remaining.
What a shot by Rickards. And we talk about the balance for both of these teams. Tiffany, if you had asked me who's going to take the shot for Louisville on this possession, with those 5 players on the floor, the 5th player I would have guessed would have been Nina Rickards. But she knocks it down. She steps into it. She says, Louisville will most likely call timeout and advance it, so you just need to get a bucket and then go from there. Think one possession at a time if you're Miami.
Down by 4, Miami with one
But you got to go fast.
remaining.
You got to go fast.
Into Oldacre and the turnover there. And Katie Meyer, you can see it on her face as she shakes it off. Miami not able to inbound the basketball on their half of the court.
That's a great play by Lemyeh Hylton. I see what they were trying to do, and that was most likely the plan. Get the ball to Oldacre and then cut off of her and try to get a layup. But Lemyeh Hylton fought around and got her hand on that ball.
We've mentioned all game long how these two have battled it out over the last several matchups, and it's come down to one possession. Final seconds. You're 10.7 seconds remaining. Miami spending their final timeout of the ball game. Katie Meyer's crew trailing by 2 possessions. And so here, what do you do in this instance if you're Coach Meyer?
Well, I say the same thing that I just said, because you lost basically no time after that turnover and then the 2 missed free throws. So you have to go quick. You have to score quick, I think in 3 seconds or less, but it doesn't need to be a 3. It needs to be the best shot available, which most likely is going to be getting to the rim, scoring, and of course trying to draw some contact as well. But you got to score as quickly as you can. Louisville will call timeout in advance if they have 3 left, and then you go from there. Try to make the game, when you're down by 4 with 10 seconds to go, make the game as long as possible, Tiffany.
The question is here, if you're Louisville, who are you looking to guard? I mean, who are you trying to take away? Who does Miami go to in this situation?
I think they're going to dribble, drive, and attack, and all 4 guards out there for Miami are capable of doing that. But you got to get the ball in.
Gets it in, Lemyeh Hylton with the long 3 off the mark. Julia Williams with the rebound, the foul up, 4.7 seconds remaining. So still in this one, got to hit these free throws, all the more critical. Today they are 10 of 14 from the free throw line, so above their season average at 71% today.
They have shot it a lot better, and that's been very important in this game. Louisville still shooting 74% from the free throw line, pretty standard for what they do. But with these free throws, obviously super important for Miami. What's changed in the women's game now, Tiffany, is you would say, all right, we're going to apply pressure and trap if we make both of these, which of course she misses the first. But now with the timeout to advance the ball, it's a lot harder for a team down 4 in this situation.
Knocks it down, and Jeff Walls and the Louisville Cardinals spend their second timeout, and will be able, on the inbound, Cochran gets it. 1 second goes off the clock, and Lemyeh Hylton will go to the line. She's a 78% free throw shooter for Jeff Walls. And the senior out of Columbus, Georgia, I think of her as an OG on this ball club.
She is.
Gets the lucky bounce there to go down and make it a 2-possession ball game.
And Miami out of timeout, so they just got to get the ball in and go.
We've seen 12 ties and 17 lead changes in this ball game, and the 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals remain undefeated in Coral Gables, and they finish this one out to open ACC play with